What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I just want to say quickly thank you for the support on the last UFC 4 checklist, all the things we want in UFC 4. That's gone over 1,000 views in less than 2 or 3 days, which is insane. The fights in the background are a few fights that I got there, all on pro or hard, which is quite surprising because I batter them. Some of my favourite fighters in real life and some of my favourite fighters to use in the game. Some people just have better models than others, and we're going to go through what you guys have said, and yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through, this is part 2 of our checklist because I waited a few days, you guys comment loads of stuff and we're going to cover it again. I've written everything down, and some of these are really cool. One thing that I thought of, which is really petty, but we need better music in the game. The playlist is terrible. We're going to leave that there though. So this is on to what you guys and subscribers, viewers, everyone that watched the video thought, and things that you guys spoke about. A lot of these I'm not agreeing with or disagreeing with. I'm just asking for opinions on these as well. So let's start off. One is take longer to get into the UFC. That could happen. I'm going to cover it in another video later today, hopefully, on why that probably will be happening. So that will be quite good. So yeah, maybe take longer to get into the UFC. But this comment was before the teaser trailer, so maybe they thought longer in Cage Warriors or longer in the WFA or something. But I don't know what you guys think on taking longer to get into the UFC, or maybe you think you should start off lower in the UFC for longer. But yeah, being the champ, same fights, new contenders, things like that. That is what we need. When you become the champion in UFC 3, it's very boring. It's very tedious. Let me just quickly move my notes so I can see them better. It becomes very tedious becoming the champion. You fight the same people over and over again, no matter their age. If you are in the middleweight division, you end up fighting a 55-year-old Yoel Romero, and that is just stupidly unrealistic. Yes, Yoel Romero is a beast, but at 55, he's not going to be the #1 contender in the middleweight division. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, we constantly need new contenders, whether it's the game studies it and goes, okay, let's say we're in the bantamweight, the bantamweight division. They go, okay, Sean O'Malley is young. He will become a contender in 5 or 6 years. Whereas if you're in the bantamweight division in 10 years' time, when your character is 32 or 35, you would not have a 41-year-old TJ Dillashaw fighting you for the title. That's very unlikely. So in that way, I think we need new contenders, and they need to have realistic character creations, not just terribly looking random generated fighters, because they look awful. So hopefully, that'll be one thing that they do. We need new contenders, so fight become interesting, and not just 70 strike and 70 grappling. Some people come up and you're like, damn, they've got 95 grapple and 80 stand up. We don't want to be taken down by them. Like how Kamaru Usman come up. He was, kind of a decision fighter in a way, and then he come up, boom, 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 and then he shoot his insane wrestling against Tyron Woodley, and then he went and busted up Kobe Covington with his stand-up. So he's constantly improving. That's what we need as we are the champion. Constant update. You guys agreed with me on that one. We need constant updates. We need record updates, stat updates. Second, we have a new fighter in the UFC. We need them added into the game, because some fighters we need, they haven't done it because they didn't think much of it. And now look who we're missing. We don't have an updated Jorge Masvidal. We don't have Alexander Volkanovski, the featherweight champion. We don't have right now. We don't have Wei Ling, the strawweight champion. So where have all these people gone? This is what we need. We need them immediately, just in case they become top contenders, top champions, fan favorite fighters. That's what we need. Another point that someone said is, the striking is good. They feel like the striking is good, but we need more violent striking. Yeah, I suppose the game could already be quite bloody, so I don't know if I really need to be that much more violent. I suppose, in a way, yes, like. They could do that, but on the same point of that, more violent striking would, another point that someone said I can't believe I left out, and I apologise, I can't believe I left out myself, doctor stoppages, we need it back. Yes, bloody fights are good, but if someone has a massive gash above their eyebrow, they should at least be warned by the ref, and the doctors could eventually stop it. So if you're constantly throwing jab, 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 that then gets people to focus on fighting smarter, because obviously, what tends to happen is if you have a big cut above your eyebrow, people will focus on that and get it worse and worse and worse, which means you then have to defend yourself and counterpunch. You're then constantly on the back foot and worrying about that doctor's stoppage. Your opponent is going to be constantly going for that eyebrow to make it worse and worse and get the doctor to come in and stop the fight. I think that would be a much more interesting, because then you have KO, TKO, submission, decision, doctor stoppage. You know, the ref might have to come and have a look at you, and they might give you a percentage of what's the chance the doctor stop it. You know, how many more shots can you take per round. You know, then cutmen are important. You know, things like that. You know, you might have a good corner man who, you know, patches you up well in career, yeah, and also in just standard fight now and online and stuff. We'll have to see how they would take that about. But more on the striking is the clinch is poor was another point I was given. I agree, the clinch is not great. I feel like we need better animations. Things like, you know, when you're inside the clinch, you need someone to rock them. You don't release the clinch. They either drop down, or they're just rocked in there and they're trying to defend themselves, and you just knock them out. It's very rare to knock someone out from inside the clinch. I've done it once in the entire time UFC 3 has been out, and that was because I went for it. I practiced and I tried until I got it. I just wanted to see what it looked like. So the clinch needs to be better. It needs to be much more aggressive, I think. You know, people when they're inside the clinch really do throw each other about and really throw a lot of elbows, a lot of knees, and I think that's what we need to see more of. I feel like the clinch is very limited in its animations. One of the things that was pointing out that I suppose you guys have to let me know if you agree with, is kicking needs more pop, needs more bang when you kick. You know, the body shots, the leg shots. I do agree, especially if you're like facing an Edson Barboza, or you are an Edson Barboza. His body kicks snap, his leg kicks like kill people. Jose Aldo, his leg kicks kill people. So, you know, someone said, I think it was like they put something like you can, a 6-year-old can kick you with more pop. I do agree, sometimes you'll kick the leg clean and it will just do nothing. I'm not expecting it to stun the leg or to wobble the leg, just like flick the leg out of the way. You know, the person will have to take a few steps back kind of thing. Just like how you would when you fight Jose Aldo. He throws his leg kicks quick and rapid. It's hard to check his kicks. Same with Edson Barboza. It's hard to check his kicks because they're so quick. And I think that's another thing, like I said last video, was about the stats. With Edson Barboza, they should know his kicks are that quick. You're going to have to check them rapidly. Like, you need to be quick, and not all of them are going to be checked. One more thing for the gameplay in itself is... someone said that they find it almost impossible to escape submissions from the CPU. I suppose in a way, yes, it is difficult, but there is also a system to it. The CPU tend to just lock in 2 positions. So if you just say if you hold up, hold right, hold up, you should then escape up most of the time. But I suppose if you haven't played the game as much as I have, I'd say I've put 300-400 hours minimum into the game. So I agree, it is the computer is a bit tapped when it comes to the submission game. They're a bit unfair when getting out of their submission, so I 100% agree with you there. I wouldn't say it's impossible or nearly impossible. I'd say it's very frustrating, and it's about knowing how the game and the CPU work. And then one more thing that's not really about the gameplay, but someone had a really good point, is with like custom players, you should either have it all the time, I think all the time personally, or at least in ranked, you have a skill points and you have a skill cap, more importantly. So there's no 100 overall created fighters. So yes, you could have 100 stand up, but then that means you won't have 100 chin. So you're more susceptible to getting knocked out. A bit like Alistair Overeem, incredible stand up, terrible chin. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see that come out. So you could make a pretty good 80 overall fight with, you know, 80 across the board or 85 across the board. Or if you want to say, you know, say 90 stand up, then you maybe have 80 ground, then, you know, 70 stamina, and then 80 health kind of thing. So, like, it's evened out. So everyone has a weakness and everyone has a strength, or everyone's average at everything but not great at anything. I think that would be a good way to do custom fighters, because then that would that would make people actually want to create people that are missing, like a modern day Jorge Masvidal that I've seen people create. But 100 overall fighters are silly. I don't see the point in them. Yes, I get it's fun, but I think, you know, you shouldn't be allowed to take them online. I think it should say if they exceed, you know, if you exceed certain player caps, then you're not allowed to take the fighter online. I just think that makes more sense, because 100 overall fighters are boring, and I think everyone should have a weakness or strength or be average at everything, and it should rely more on player skill. I mean, if you guys will see in the next random fighter select that someone used a 100 overall fighter against me, still didn't win, and I was using someone with 83 stand up. So, you know, it doesn't matter too much, but yes, it is annoying seeing 100 overall fighters because they are stupidly quick, stupidly powerful. It's just silly. But yeah. The next thing is, obviously I've limited everyone's like suggestions down, but this one I had to put in. I had to. Okay, this is from someone called, I hope I'm going to butcher your name. It looks like Lassification Lass. I hope I'm not butchering your name too much. But this is one thing that I had to just copy and paste and put it in here because I want to just put it through the whole video. It's just this is kind of what I was saying, but he typed out perfectly. This is completely what he said. I want a better career mode. 100% agree there. 60-second fight promotion where a fighter is in the studio shadow boxing and posing as the commentator explains the fighter's current stats and his win streak, like the THQ UFC 3 style. 100% agree. Hype the fighter up. Post-fight interview where a fighter has the option to talk positively or negatively, obviously trash talk, or talk positively of his opponent. You can take the Conor McGregor, Kobe Covington approach, so you could either be brash, they were obviously very different. They're both brash and loud, but Covington took the more fans because most of his fans are haters, and Conor McGregor is brash and confident, so most of his fans are fans. Or you can be a fighter who's respectful. Being brash, cocky and trash talking results in more fans and interest in your fight, generating more buzz and being quite a respectful. But being a respectful fighter will have a slower process of making you a draw. So obviously you may not be in main event as soon as possible, but if you trash talk, you might pick up more speed and more buzz, but then obviously you might fight higher opponents. So then if you lose, you take a bigger. This is me saying this is not what he read, but it's more going on what he said. If you're a trash talker and then you lose, you've seen what happens when trash talkers lose. When Conor McGregor lost, when Kobe Covington lost, yes, different things, but all the haters come out the woodworks. People start to doubt them. Or does he have weakness here? Does he have weakness there? You look like a dick if you trash talk and then you lose. Whereas if you're respectful all the time and you lose, people are like, you know what? He's still cool. Like Cowboy. When Cowboy loses, everyone's like, unlucky. Same with Dustin Poirier. It's like, Dustin Poirier lost against Khabib. Unlucky, but he's a great fighter. Let's carry it on. Same with Justin Gaethje. He's always respectful, except obviously James Vick, but he knocked James Vick out and made James Vick look like a tit. Next up, he said, every post-fight, we want the option of saying something good or trash talk about the opponent you just defeated or your future opponents. That would be good. You could trash talk the champion. You could knock someone out and then trash talk them, which is almost like disrespect, but it would also be a good approach. Or you could say, he's a great fight. I'm looking forward to fighting the champion. Or I suppose you could say, the guy I've just fought is great, but the champion's trash kind of thing. Pre- and post-fight conferences as a bonus. If EA adds these options, we don't even need crazy cutscenes or extra narrative in the career mode. The game mode will turn out dope. This way you can play 2 separate career modes to see how your story ends. You're either the hero, like, who would we say is a hero in the UFC? Alexander Gustafsson, Stipe Miocic, or the heel, like the first one that comes to mind is obviously Chael Sonnen and Kobe Covington. The choice is yours. I thought this was a really cool, simple explanation. 100%, you don't need mega cutscenes. You just need, sitting at the press conference, talking. You just need to be interviewed by Megan O'Leary. These won't take much to do. They don't need to be 4K, mega quality of a million different options. I don't want the same things being said, but I agree that this would be a very good narrative and it would make the game incredibly interesting, and I think everyone would have a lot more fun in this career. But that is pretty much it for this video, guys. This is UFC 4 checklist part 2. Hopefully I won't need to do part 3 unless you guys have got a lot more. I'm going to be making a video soon on the teaser trailer and everything you guys might have seen, or something I feel like I have a good clue about for the career. So definitely stay tuned. Hopefully that video will be out in about an hour. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.